vicious, you know I'm crazy. So go ahead and drink up. I'm so glad we got to link up. Taking that off me. Yeah. I got the plug, I made the coffee. Talking late night for you.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl, sister girl, and welcome to the Moo Room. Y'all. We're gonna have a hard conversation today in the Moo Room. So, I don't feel like it should be a hard conversation, but it could be a hard conversation. But we're just going to talk relationships. We're going to talk the real relationships, parent and children relationships. So, to some people, it might be a hard relationship, but nevertheless, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, it's been a lot going on. It's been a lot because a lot of people have a lot of opinions about, look, if you coming in, you stopping by, you just want to stop by, say hello, whatever, see what I'm talking about. We are talking about relationships. We gonna keep it 100. Sorry, y'all. Like I said, we're gonna keep it 100 over here. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is respected in the Moo Room. For those that don't know, I am your girl, sister girl. I am the host of the Moo Room. This is my living room. This is where we come. This is where we talk. This is where we figure it out. This is where we voice our opinions, whatever. I am going to do something that I never do at the beginning of my shows, but I'm going to drop the link early because I feel like we need to have this conversation. I think the conversation is far overdue, and I feel like we need to have the conversation about what is classified as a good parent. Who is a good parent? What classifies as a good parent? We need to have that conversation. So I'm going to drop the link early. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we're going to use, as you see, Monique and her son. Okay, so of course, we're going to use them as, a callus into the conversation. But we really do need to have this conversation because this is my question, and y'all, I don't have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? Even being a mother, I don't have all the answers. Even, having successful children that have been successful in their life. Sorry, I gotta put some lipstick on. I still don't have the answers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just hoping, hey sis, hey Sonic, hey boo, welcome. Thank you for coming. You said I would come in, but I'm at work with the messed up schedule. Oh, sorry, boo. I know, but I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better today. I woke up at a low, but I'm at my mid ground. You know what I'm saying? So even if I don't get to my highest of my heights today, I'm better than better than where I was, So, but I'm doing better today, And y'all, I am in Texas, and the weather change here have been off of the chain. Okay, like one day we in the 30s, the next day we in the 70s, the next day we in the, so our winters are like that. They claim we're gonna get a late winter this year, but we shall see. Because we had what, maybe 2 freezes last year, and and I'm a Minnesota girl, so the weather, like I lived in the north 90% of my life, you know what I'm saying? So the weather, like, you know, I like it both ways. I like it hot. I like it cold. You know what I'm saying? I don't like no snow though. I don't miss no snow. Really don't. You said pneumonia weather and it's jacked up here. I know it is pneumonia weather because they're just out here just, you know, because you know you think it's gonna be nice, so you underdress and then you get outside and you're sweating, you getting overdressed. So it's all that. It's all that. Yeah, I am in my husband's office today, so y'all gotta excuse me. I got my green screen up, but it's yeah. Please excuse it, because I'm in his office today. So y'all, but welcome to the Moo Moo Room. If you've never been here before, if this is your first time here, you know, please hit that like button. I hope you will, you know, I hope you like your girl, you know what I'm saying, and subscribe and come on back. You know, a lot of people might see me, you know, I support a lot of content creators and stuff. So, you know, I just, you know, hit that like button and support your girl. I don't think it's gonna be much. I don't know what the hell that is in the back. I think it's this chair, but it's really bothering me. Okay. So, let's get started. Okay, so Monique went on, well, Monique has been doing interviews for years, okay? Because like I said, we're gonna use Monique to get into our conversation. Okay, we're gonna use Monique's situation. And y'all, I love being up here, but I'm gonna come back and forth because this is really bothering me. So Monique has been in Monique went on Club Shay Shay, and you know, I guess by Monique going on Club Shay Shay is what triggered her son again. As you may know, that Monique and her son has been estranged for years, you know, and this is not hold on, Spirit. Hold on, sorry. This has not been something that has been new. I mean, it might be new to some people, but Monique, if you known Monique or have followed her, like I said, I'm one of the few that love a good comedian. So, um, um, I been following Monique for years and years upon years. And I know that her and Shalon, which is her son, has had an estranged relationship for years. Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to find me. And so in that, um, she has spoke about it. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at a uh few pieces of information because y'all know me. I like to talk about it. Now, this is very interesting that they post this picture of Monique and her son because as you have known, you might not find too many pictures of him and her on the internet because they have had issues in the past. Please leave me alone. Okay, so this, let me make sure y'all seeing it. Let me know if y'all seeing it. Make sure y'all seeing it. Okay, y'all seeing it. Okay, so I'm gonna get down here. Okay, so this is now these is like current what people are saying currently, and then I'm gonna also bring up what the fact that people, you know, what people have been saying in the past. If I can find what I'm looking for, y'all. But we're just using Monique as a callus into the conversation because this is what's hot on the internet right now and what people are talking about. So that's what we're going to talk about. So, how do we start? Okay. This is Okay, so in light of Monique's recent interviews with Shannon Sharp, Monique interview with the former NFL tight end went viral. Okay. So now Shalon has responded, insisting his mother portrayed a false narrative about their relationship while speaking to Shannon Sharp. Okay. Now let's go and look at because Shalon has responded more than once, but I need to say this. Okay. I'm gonna say this. Hold on. I'm gonna say this too. Okay. Now, when I personally started following Shalon, okay, which is Monique's son, um, Shalon only had maybe these videos. And the reason I started following him was because of this video right here that he posted. And I was like, oh, that's Monique's son. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, that's Monique's son. Where was he at? Okay. So, hold on. What you say? It says, did she apologize to Oprah Monique? I am upset. We're going to talk about that too. But let's just talk about her relationship with her son. Because I feel like the Oprah and Tyler thing is a whole different avenue. Okay. So this is when I first found Shalon. Okay. I had first found Shalon and he had posted this video. And I think I was following Celebrity Kids, the hashtag Celebrity Kids. Okay. So I was on the TikTok following, Celebrity Kids because I love Bernie Mac's daughter. Like Janisa McCullen is the bomb.com. Like she is just a genuinely good spirited person. So I was following her and I was looking at an interview that her and Monique had done. So, and if don't nobody know who Jennifer McKellen is, she is Bernie's daughter. She also has a YouTube called Bernie's Daughter, and she, I think it's called Bernie's Daughter. And she interviews like a lot of, anybody that has known her father and stuff like that. So her very first interview when she started her YouTube channel was Cedric the Entertainer. And then her second interview was Monique. So I'm like, okay. So I have been following her on the TikTok. And so I came across this and I came across Shamad. Okay. So then I'm like, oh, this is her son, her oldest son. Okay. Now, before then, like he really, y'all, I'm telling you, he probably had, even with this video, I'm going to say at the time, he probably had maybe 500, 600 views. Like I said, he didn't have nothing. And he'll even tell you before he started talking about his mom, he didn't have nobody. Now he's, monetized, whatever. So, I'm just one of them people, I don't know. So as you can see, like, even from this, he doesn't have a lot of comments or anything because nobody really, knew. Just people just started following him now recently since, he's in beef with his mom. Okay. So, like I said, none of these videos, as you can see, these is all new comments, he never had this. So am I not negating the fact that, what's going on with that little girl look like her grandma to me. That's just me. But anyways, we're going to listen to him tell all three sides of his story. I'm going to stop in the middle. As you can see, when he first came out and spoke up, this one has 2 million views. So everybody wanted to, talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And like somebody was like, not Monique being the mama from Precious, and he was like, I wouldn't go that far, laughing my ass off. So you gotta listen, and you gotta listen. This is a child that is hurt by some of the things that his mama may have said, may have done, maybe, so I feel like he's really hurt. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna listen to what he has to say.
Hi, I am Shalon. I am a stand up comedian, Monique's oldest son. Um, I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay interview that she did, where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. Uh, my mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire.
I'm gonna pause that because y'all have to. He said she doesn't care to be my mother, nor do I care to be her son. Okay, we have to listen. We have to pay attention. Now he could be speaking out of emotions, which he is. He really is. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel, you know, and y'all, we can wait this back to let me cut this on. Let me see if I can, if it's gonna act right. We can even equate this back to Krishan Rock. We can recreate this back to Carlissa, Mama D. We can it's a lot of mothers that, like, if we look at Carlissa was like all her, she finally did it. The whole time she was trying to raise her kids, she was also trying to break into the entertainment business. So, and then we look at the product of what she has raised. And, I love Callie. I do. I really think she's a cool girl, but I just feel like she doesn't act like a 30-year-old. She doesn't act mature. She's still around here popping coochie and twerking unnecessarily in public, and and just being like mentally, you know what I'm saying? Now, does this brings the fact that she even with her acting like that, she's messing with a nigga, a brother in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, sis, I'm gonna need you to be more. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like it's a lot. You said, hold on. There are some others who do not provide or even let you know that they have two kids. They care so little. Monique took him around and was busy trying to provide. He gotta give some leeway. And that's the thing. And I agree with that. I agree with that. But me and my daughter and my kid and my oldest son, we have this conversation all the time. I was so busy because I was a single mom. And you remember Monique was going through a divorce. The first marriage was not the marriage with his father wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? So do I feel like he has a lot of resentment because he's watched his mom be married and this is her third husband, and this man, and like, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the whole conversation because he addresses some things and then he comes back and he addresses some more. After Monique and them talk, he comes back and he addresses some things, and then did Monique them address him again? No, she posted the text messages, and so then he came back again, and he addresses her again. Now, I'm gonna say this again. Today he was live, and I mean the gifts and the money and he TikTok famous now. He doing his thing on TikTok when prior he was not. So, did it help him? Yes. Did it, because we love a good, like, let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. We love a good villain story. We got to make somebody the villain. We got to make somebody the victim. We love it. We love the V's, the villain and the victim. We love it, especially the internet. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they don't want to hear nothing that's real, having real conversations about real people. They don't want to have these kind of conversations. They don't want to talk about the fact that we want our parents to parent us like we want our parents to parent us. You know what I'm saying? I want you to talk to me this way. I want you to treat me this way. I want you to, we're asking for somebody to give us something sometimes that they're not capable of giving. You know what I'm saying? Now, we don't know what she thought about herself as far as once. Okay, Monique has been essayed and all that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand, even if your child could be made out of a relationship, but if the encounter was traumatic, meaning y'all had just got into an argument and he forced you to, have sex with him or whatever the case may be. However this may be, that child is conceived with that traumatic experience, and the mother, she's carrying that child in that trauma. And I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just telling you this is from what I know to have been true, based upon my little bit of expertise, as you may call it, by talking to women that have expressed these things to me that they have went through. Because some people don't even, when they go to my site, sometimes they just go for counsel, like they just want somebody to talk to them, to help them through the postpartum, to help them through the pregnancy, just encouragement. Sometimes they just go on there for that piece. They reach out to me for that. They don't even reach out for me for actual birth. Do you understand what I'm saying? But they reach out to me because they don't know how they're going to go through this, if they're going to go through this alone. And some of them in the end, the father shows up and he's there and they have a wonderful birthing experience. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that. So I'm just saying, sometimes you can, trauma to your psyche and trauma, because it's all one, like our bodies. That's why we are the portal to this world. That's why God made us the portal to this world. And we have some women that they desire not to be the portal. They desire not to have children. They desire not to I think about it. I love the brat. I do. You know what I'm saying? But the brat has experienced something, and she, like, ever since she's had that baby, it's a softness to her. Like, it's a different person to her, like, because now she has a whole child. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, because, and this is just me, and this is just my opinion. This is just me on the outside looking in. I don't know. Just like we all judge everybody on the outside looking in, this is just my outside looking in. Okay. Now, on the outside looking in, I feel that she is so much more attached because she's never experienced that. She's never been a mother, and that has been her long life desire. So this baby to her is everything. Whereas to Judy, I'm not going to say it's not everything to Judy. I'm just going to say I mean, it's a form. It's not as Judy is not as attached to the baby, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And the baby is not as attached to Judy, in my humble opinion. And we know it's also because the brat breastfeeds and she do all that. But to see her in a different light as a mother, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's good. You know what I'm saying? I like that for her. You know what I'm saying? So, hold on. You said maybe it's me. I was used to being sent away, so she will provide for us. I have to be understanding at a young age. I got abandonment issues, but I understand the struggle. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in some ways we all. I mean, anybody, because I mean, I was raised by my pops, my dad. You know what I'm saying? But my biological father did not raise me. And I felt some kind of resentment towards him because I saw him, I knew he raised my sister. And I was like, okay, like, why wasn't I good enough? You know what I'm saying? So I understand him in that sense, even though I had a father and my dad was the bomb.com. Like, my dad that raised me was the bomb.com. Like, that was my bestie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will go to war. You know what I'm saying? But it's also, even though that was who he was to me, it was still a piece of me that felt like, dang, I wasn't good enough. But then when I became a woman enough and in a place mentally, emotionally, and whatever, I was able to sit down with him and have that hard conversation. And in having that hard conversation, I got it. As a mom, I was like, dang, okay. But as a child, I didn't get it, if that makes sense. But I got it as an adult, but as a child, I did not get it. Like, I understood it as an adult, but as a child, I didn't understand it. So the thing is, what is he understanding as an adult that he's forgetting as a child, if that makes sense? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I saw something interesting today, and we'll talk about that too. They need to take a step aside and take care of private business. They do. But it's like, he done grew his internet following. He getting money now. And he said he's not going to talk about it. I mean, his no need, because now he's at 32,000 followers. Like, he got on today and he didn't address it. People were in the comments and they were trying to talk about it. And he just was like talking about his gaming and raising his daughter and his girlfriend. And he was talking about that aspect of his life. Like, he wasn't trying to, and people were, they want to keep hoppering on it. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to listen to all his different way of thinking about it. Exactly. I was told I needed to understand, and I can't expect my mom to be nurturing like I want her to be, because she never got that. And people don't understand that if you don't know, you don't know. You don't know. Like, it's amazing, because I talk to some people and I'd be like, man, just in conversation, like, I wish I could go back to my childhood. I wish I could, I remember when, or my childhood was this and this and that. I remember when we used to go and we used to spend the night, and my cousins, and I remember all this, like, everything was, and then I hear people say, I'll never want to go back. I'll never want to go back. I know people that don't like their parent because of their childhood. Like, and I just feel like this is normal. Like, and people's like, how is this the norm? It is the norm. It is the norm. People, like, parents, there are some kids out here that they, until they become a parent and they have to go through some of the things that their parent went through, and all they're going to do is come from a brat instinct. Like, you didn't give me this, you didn't give me that, you did. But sometimes somebody, how can I give you something? I can give you in something that I don't know. How can I give you something that I don't know I'm not giving you? You know what I'm saying? If I'm poor, or I grew up poor, or I grew up impoverished, or I grew up without a lot. And I find, like, let's bring it here, like Krishan. Krishan grew up where she said she didn't have anything. It's many interviews. I don't care what everybody says. She say, and people's like, they did how when your mom was on drugs, or your mom was, struggling. Your dad was out on drugs. You know what I'm saying? You was with family members. There were some things that you went without. It's no way that you just grew up perfect. It's just no way in that. It's like, it's no way. Something you went without. And so in that, she seen her mom stand by this man and have 7, 8 kids with this one man. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was doing whatever he was doing and in the world he was in, she sit up here and had 7 to 8 kids by this man. In her mind, even though they're not together now, even though they're in their separate ends of the world now, but in her mind, she's thinking she loved him. And she'll say, my mom loved my dad unconditionally. So in her mind, she's thinking that's love. When they don't know what love is. Like, remember she did the interview. Let me see if I can find it. Remember she did an interview and she talked about the fact that her mom, she talked about the fact that she remembers when her mom, like, used to comb her hair and walk her to school, and all of a sudden she just wasn't there anymore. I feel like this is what he's going through. Remember when Krishan mom, when she was pregnant with Junior, and she tried to come in the ultrasound room, and then remember the whole Crazy in Love, and she was in the hot tub and her mom was trying to talk to her and all that. That is because of this. This is the same thing that Monique and her son is going through. Now he's saying, I want my mom there. Like, my mom is not making an effort to be there. But if she's there, are you going to push her away? Because of some unresolved feelings you have. I'm just asking. You said, yeah, my dad is a deadbeat, but my counselor told me he is teaching me in reverse on how not to be a parent. True. I think that's true. I think that is possible. But sometimes we can still mess it up because we can put too much of what we feel or what we think it should look like. And there is no right or wrong it's no right or wrong way to parent. It's not. It's really not a right or wrong way to parent. It's not. And there's no two. I don't feel like, and people can argue me up and down and say, that's not true. You can parent your child the same, but they're not going to all turn out the same way. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, me and my brothers all grew up in the same household. We went to the same schools. We did how my parents set us out to be. You know what I'm saying? But we're all different. We all look at life differently. We all live life differently. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's like, but one thing we can always say, like, even when we get into our little arguments, child. But anyways, when we get into our little arguments, one thing that we can always say is, and one thing we say to each other is, we was taught to be better than this. Like, we're siblings. Like, we're taught to be better than this. Like, we don't, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's a drag out, whatever. We're siblings at the end of the day. And we got that tough love back in the day where, and I do this to my kids. Oh, y'all can't get along and y'all gonna be in the room together all day. Y'all can't talk to nobody but each other. I don't even want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's that bond, like, you know what I'm saying? When you got to have that person where you can pick up the phone, because mama and daddy might not always be there. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta have that extra whatever that you can pick up the phone and be like whoop de whoop. You know what I'm saying? But it's the generation now that thinks they know so much about parenting, they don't listen to the elders of the elders. Because I'm not saying everybody in my generation, everybody in the 50 club, going into the 50 club, 45 and over, I'm not saying we all got it right. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we all did it right. I'm saying we weathered the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s. I'm gonna let y'all listen to this video and I'm gonna call you right back.
To reach out to the other in a very long time. And I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly in my experience will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have three sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the fourth son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid, that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, um, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, um, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well. And anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the excuse me, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate. I guess you could say there are now two baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still.
Okay, now, like I said, I was like, I'm sorry about that, y'all. I had to take my brother called me. Look, I was talking about him. He gonna live a long time, and he pop up, him and my sister-in-law. But they we, as I was saying before, did you hear what he just said? He said, like, basically all of a sudden another the twins pop up. You know what I'm saying? So now, not to mention, now before the twins, I think her and one of her husbands, or was it? I think her and Sydney, they adopted. Now this is my thing. I know it's three because I know it's one. I think he's before the twins, or is he after the twins, y'all? I don't remember. But anyways, now he was an only child. It was him and his mama. Now his uncle, that's why we gotta be careful. and be honest with our kids. And we shouldn't be, if you know you have some kind of sexual or some kind of interest in a man, be honest with your kids. I'm sorry, that uncle stuff bothers me. My kids ain't never had no uncles. That's mommy's friend. Why it couldn't be mommy's friend? You know what I'm saying? Mr. Such and such. Mommy's friend. Or a nickname. That uncle stuff, I don't know. I'm just out on the uncle stuff. That's just me personally. My personal preference or that lack thereof. But Neff, what do you want? So uh yeah, he made me lose my train of thought. But anyways, the uncle stuff is I don't believe in calling strange men uncles. Um so that's just me. I think that's weird. That's my whole take on it. So by him calling her allowing her son to call him uncle in the first place, that was a little strange to me. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, maybe because he did, like she said, he knew you before you knew you. So, but it's like, okay, so you grew up, this man's been your manager, he grew up. So I want to say it's always, and this is just me as an observation. This is me as an observation. It's always been a form of I'm not gonna say jealousy, but a form of why is he around? You know how kids be like, why is he around? Like, I just feel like it's always been that. Ever since they were younger. You know what I'm saying? Ever since he grew up, because Sydney was her manager. So I feel like it's always been that. But that's just me. You said even now my mom stumbles when I am affectionate, but she tries to reciprocate it. She flat she flatters saying she loves me. Oh, I mean, some people don't because they don't know. Is it wrong because you don't know? Is it wrong because you don't know? That's the question. Is it wrong because you don't know? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm going to continue to say this, and I might be, because I know we got a lot of internet perfect parents out here. We got a lot of content creators out here, and she wrong. She did this. She did that. She did it. But to me, uncles and stuff are trigger words in different communities. To me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just tell them, because then for young girls too, you put them in a whole different position. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna get, like I said, I'm not one of them sisters that's gonna get up here and be like, Monique, this and this and this. I'm gonna say she has said several times she didn't know because she didn't have the capacity to know. She didn't know because she did not know. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, is she wrong? I mean, is she wrong? And these are things that happened when he was a child. When he was a child and he did childish things, like these were, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that happened when she was young. She said she went through mental times. Y'all, this is the old Monique. Remember her? The old Monique that everybody was like she was fat, black, and ugly. Remember that Monique? This is that Monique. This is that Monique. And people are like, okay, well, if you feel like you were fat, black, and ugly, then you should have took to your... No. Then it would have been, if there... She could have... How can I say this? It could have went two ways, okay? It could have went the way it did go. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where he did have some issues, and because he's a celebrity kid, he was birthed, he was raised, nurtured in the spotlight alongside his mom. Like, she was trying to get it while he was trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? So don't know. We'll listen to some more. Oh, hold on. Let me get some of these comments. Real talk. I just need a parent that doesn't act like a child and expect me to take up the parents. Exactly. Exactly. Sonic, I completely understand where he is coming from. My mom did the exact same thing to me. I'm 49-year-old with 3 kids. And one thing about me, I show my grown children, adult children love. I learn to care, but don't care. Exactly. Trauma bond never goes. It does never go away. And y'all got to realize, I feel like Sydney and Monique has trauma bond because they've been knowing each other since they were in the 10th grade. Now, do you know, like, you're like, what, 14, 15, up until you're in 40 years of like y'all going through ups and downs. He's seeing you take on 2 husbands. He's your 3rd husband. He's seen you, and like she said, I was in a mental state. Like I was in a very messed up way. And now I feel like as a parent, I mean, my mom showed me so much love growing up, and my father showed me so much love. My dad showed me so much love. My father, I didn't get that from him because I didn't really know him, but I knew my family surrounding him, my grandmother, my aunts, and everybody showed me a form of love. Now, did I think that I got the love I desired? No, I did not. I don't feel like I got the love that I always desired, but I got the love that they were capable of giving me. My mom was a teenage mother. She was married and had 4 kids by the time she was 19. Did she, how much, they say our brain is not fully developed until we're 25. So you got to think of it. And I hear people say, I was 19, I was 18, I was 16, I was 15, and I had my first baby and I did a damn good job. I know, but did you? Did you? She might have thought she did the best she could do too. That's the thing I want us to be 100 about. Like, we got to keep it real. Real talk, I personally ran away. The uncles. Exactly. The uncles. Like, we don't do the uncles. The uncles, I don't like the uncles. I just don't do the uncles. Okay? That's just me. Ignorance requires patience. Knowing stupidity requires a kick it with clicks. Girl, what? Let me pin that one. Because that's real. We expect our parents to be super people, but we never ask if they can fly. Oh my goodness. Yes. Y'all know what I say. Y'all know, let me throw it up here because y'all know this is what do I say? We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the change it has gone through to achieve that beauty. Is that not true? Do you know what a butterfly goes through to achieve its beauty? When it goes into that cocoon, it is like a little ugly caterpillar. If you seen it crawling on you, you'll try to kill it. But you don't see people trying to kill a butterfly. But when it go, and then have you ever seen a cocoon? Have you ever seen what a cocoon looks like when the butterfly goes into a cocoon? What it begin to look like? The puda. Do you know what that looks like? It just looks like, it doesn't look beautiful. But then when it starts coming out and the wings begin to flap, the beauty comes. So we have to, you done said a word there, baby. You done said a word right there. I'm telling you, yes. Sonic, I understand no one perfect, but they have to work to provide, but not showing your child love is no excuse. Exactly. You have to, but there's some people that just don't like their parents. It is. Yeah, it's some people that don't like their parents. It is. I mean, that's hard for us to say. And sure, I don't want to say it. Sierra Linda, is that how you say it? I hope so. Welcome to the Moo Moo Room, sis. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm saying this. You're right. There's no excuse, but there are people. As like I said, I'm a postpartum doula. I don't cut people off after a year. Like if after a year, you can call me up anytime. Once you become a part of me, and you can call me up anytime, and I'm gonna look out. You know what I'm saying? So I can have people call me up and they'll be like, I thought this was gonna get better. Like, I thought this was gonna be better. Like, my baby don't, I've had mothers say, my baby don't like me. And people be like, that's odd. It's like we have to think these are embodied spirits. We as people are an embodied spirit. Okay? Now, we nurture our spirits. We nurture our spirits. You know what I'm saying? But we are embodied spirits. So sometimes you might not get your child might not feel the best way about you. You know what I'm saying? You said, it's hard. It's hard. I'm the mother of 9. One of my kids right now out of all 9 of them, one of them right now ain't feeling me because she didn't like what I said. But I didn't say nothing wrong. I'm going to say the same thing that I'd say to you to the other 8 of them. I'm not going to, but because I am not her biological mother, she feels like I shouldn't address her in a certain way, or I shouldn't say something to her a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But when I took on the responsibility and I made a covenant for 4 other kids to join me and my kids, you know what I'm saying? And then I birthed 3 more kids. Then that covenant is they're all the same. Nobody's loved more. They all can call me. She could call me right now and say, hey, Ma, I need da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to get it to her, even though she's not speaking to me, even though she's not talking to me or her dad. And it's not because we did anything that was wrong. We were actually in the right. But because we did not handle it the way she felt we should handle it or say what she wanted to hear, she felt some kind of way. And that happens all the time. It happens all the time. Especially in big families. Oh, yeah, the poopa. Yes. LOL, I was so bad when I was 3. My mom didn't like me, but she loved me. But you know what? I say this all the time. You can please hit the like button, please. You can like somebody and not love them. You can love them and not like them. It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. And you hear parents say this, and I love all my kids equally. You know what I'm saying? I do love all my kids. I do. But some of them, I don't like how they handle stuff. Some of them, I don't like how they talk to me. Some of them, I don't like what they say. Some of them feel that they had a bad experience. My son tried so much not to be so much like my daughter, who he thought was the golden child. Okay? He's the oldest son. He's the firstborn son. He thought she was the golden child. You know what I'm saying? And he tried so hard not to be like her that he lost his identity before he could develop it, because he was trying so hard not to walk the same path that his sister walked. And it was no reason. It was just his choice. So sometimes we as children, like me, for me, my motivation was my mom. I wanted a lot of children, but I wanted to be in a place where I just wanted to, I didn't mind adopting, because I was told, when I was young, that I couldn't have any children because of trauma to my body. So when I got, 18, 19, I was told, the likelihood of you having children is probably like 20%. And so I'm like, dang, like, okay. So I was okay. And I was like, I always wanted a big family. I always wanted 10 kids. So it's like, yes, I always wanted 10 kids. Yes, I did. I always wanted a big family because I grew up in a place where my mom had an open door policy. Anybody can come to my house and eat. I get home, my friends done been there and ate and took a nap and everything else, and I ain't even made it home yet. Because my mom had that open door policy. She was just that type of person. And you got to remember now, I grew up in the 80s, the crack era. A lot of, we grew up in a black neighborhood. I was in a black neighborhood where people was not, we were not letting our kids go to the system. We were, loving on them and taking care of them. And, you go stay with family member, you go over here and stay at cousin's house, you go over here and stay at such and such house. And we were spreading them thin because the system, we knew what the system would do to them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the era, we grew up in. You know what I'm saying? So ours was a little different. Now, these kids now, they are in the microwave era. These are microwave babies. Everything got to be quick. And if it ain't quick, it ain't it. And this is their era this is what we're dealing with them. This is what we're dealing with them. Unicorn coming, unicorn. So Sonic, I think that's what did it for him when they recognized 3 sons instead of 4. I think that was it. I think that's what done it to him too. But it was, my thing is, and we gonna get into Sydney. And we gonna get into Sydney because what I'm gonna say here is I'm gonna get into Sydney from a married woman's point of view with children from blended families and all this. I'm gonna get into Sydney on that level. I'm not gonna get into Sydney on a single woman, what I would never do, what I ain't gonna do, this and that and this and that. We're not talking from that level, okay? So again, I'm gonna drop the link. If anybody want to come up and talk, you is more than welcome to come up and voice your opinion. I'll drop the link again, okay? But that's what I'm saying. When we talk about this, like I said, when I'm talking about this, I'm also talking about from a mother point of view who has sons. You know what I'm saying? And daughters, and who has went to therapy with her son, because her son has said some of the same things but I was a mother that went to school full time to get a cosmetology license for the second time, because the first time I was in college trying to get a degree, working 2 jobs, being a mother. My kids did anything they wanted to do, but I missed the ball. I dropped the ball. And so then when my son brought me to the carpet, and because the whole time I'm thinking, it's him. And then the therapist said, no, let's sit down and talk to both of y'all. And then when he pointed out some things where I missed it, and my son, he was like, I think at the time he probably had been about 16, 17. And he was like maybe a junior. I think he was like a junior in high school, maybe even a senior in high school. And he bought it to the carpet. And he said, Mom, this happened in 2nd grade. Everybody parent was there but you. And you never missed. And I missed that one time. But it was so important to him. But I had worked and I had overslept. And I didn't make it, because I was working 2 jobs and going to school. But he didn't understand that. He was in the 2nd grade. He didn't understand that. So for all them years, don't matter how much I showed up after that, that was the one time that meant the most to him, and I didn't show up. And I feel like with him right now, the biggest thing that meant the most to him was the birth of his daughter. And it don't matter about all the times she done showed up in the past. It doesn't matter about everything she done financially for him. It doesn't matter about all that. What matters is that she didn't show up that time. And do you know that one time that you don't show up for your child? My daughter, when I say support her in everything she has ever done. She said I didn't support her when she moved into her apartment the way she felt I should have stepped up. Why? Because I felt at the time that, I was like, well, you ain't ready. It's a lot of money. You don't, this and this and this. And she was making good money, but I just was like, we never know what's going to happen. We don't never know. I just don't think and because I did not support, because I feel strongly like she wasn't ready. I didn't step up and I didn't support her. And she carried that. That hurted her to her core. So sometimes as parents, little things that we might seem was little, or we might stand on business and we might think is not sufficient, or if we might not think is good enough, or it's just not a big thing to us. Oh, it's they'll get over it. That can be something traumatic in them, because these were important pieces in that we might not have been important to us, but it was important to them. And then my 2 times that my children have came and called me to the carpet and say, you didn't stand up for me, you wasn't there. And I'm thinking like, I know, but I was, I told my son I was tired. I just overslept. But he didn't understand that. He was in the 2nd grade. He didn't understand mommy oversleeping. He didn't understand that. My daughter, I wasn't on board. She didn't understand that. She didn't understand, because as a parent, you Sonic said before, you're supposed to wear a cape. And sometimes that cape be so heavy because not, like I tell people all the time, because my friends and stuff would be like, dang, you don't call, you don't do this. And I say, y'all, there's 12 people live in my house. Some days I don't even shoot. Some days I don't know whether I'm coming or going. But this is my house. My kids can always come home. If my daughter, her husband, and her 4 kids come home, that'll be 16. If my older daughter come home, that'll be 17. And we'll make it work. Because that's what family means. Now, do I get on their nerves? Oh, most definitely. Sometimes they be like, you be nagging, you be doing this, you be doing that. Okay, well, that comes with being a parent. And I always tell my daughters now, especially the ones that don't have kids, when you have babies, you'll understand. Hey, unicorn. Hey, my sister. Hey, boo. You said that's one heck of a 20%. I want 8, but my mom said I wouldn't be able to give them all the same amount of love or attention. See, I think the difference is for me. When I married my husband, he had 4 kids, and the oldest at the time when we got married, she was 13. And my daughter was 12, or yeah, she was about to turn 12. She was like 11. And my son was 7, and then his kids are like in between it. And then we had one that was they were all like 9 and up when we first got married. And then we had our daughter, our first child together. And so for me, it was hard only because like me and our oldest daughter, which is my husband's biological daughter, but our oldest daughter, we had an awesome relationship, and we still do. And it's because like I was there through them crucial time in her life. And she I don't even know how to, I don't want to tell nobody's business. We'll save this for a Discord conversation, but we'll save the rest of the but let's just say this. It's you can, you know, they might feel unequally loved, if that's what you want to say, but I guess I love them all where they at. Because I feel like some people might think my daughter that lives with me with my two grandchildren, that we spoil her because she can always come home, her and the kids. Like, she don't have to, you know, really take care of her or her kids. Like my husband, like, so it's you know, I guess it's different. It's how you, it's some people, and my daughter said this to me. She was like, "Ma, some people have children, but they don't want children." I feel like if you want children, you can love them like they need to be loved. You know what I'm saying? Like my baby boy, he loves to be up under you, but he's the baby of 9, and he's spoiled, rotten, and he's the baby, and he's the baby. He's the baby, and he lets you know he's the baby. But then you got the one that's right above him, my 11-year-old. He's like, he he's, I don't know, he's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like, he a little mean, a little mean, a little mean. But like, when I see him getting into that space, I say, "Come on, let's have some mommy and son time." You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to just watch your kids, observe your kids, know your kids, and be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, I know when she's, you know, "What you doing? What you into?" You know what I'm saying? And they be like, "How do you know everything?" And I'll be like, "Because I'm mom." So you got to, it's how you, I guess, know your kids. You got to get to know them, know their personalities, know, understand that they're people. They're little people. They're people just like you. They're going to grow up one day to be big people. They got to make grown people decisions. You know what I'm saying? You know, but we have to think too. My situation might be a little different because I homeschool. So I'm with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Versus people that are not with their kids. Some people, they don't see their kids, but maybe, you know, they pick them up from after school program, or they, you know, work late. And you know, when you're away from your kids 8, 9, and 10 hours a day, somebody else might know your kids, know something about your kids than you don't, you know, because you got to realize when they come home, you're preparing them for the next day. They're in bed by 10 o'clock because they got to get up and go to school the next morning. So the only time you really kind of get to know them is on the weekends when you're, you know, and that's just me. That's just my observation. That's just how I feel. I just feel like it's a little bit different. Like, I know the mannerisms of my children. I know when something's going on. I know when they're, because I observe them and I know them. So if somebody come and say, "Well, your child say this and this and this and this," I know who said it and I don't know who didn't say it. You ain't even got to tell me. Or if they say this and this is done, I know who did it and who didn't do it. You ain't even got to tell me because I just get the mannerisms of them. So like I said, I'm a mother of 9. I was a mother of 10. I got one that's my angel baby. He's in heaven right now. You know, he's in the spirit realm watching over us. So that's it. So, yep, latchkey kids. You said I don't trust. Sydney is a whole nother. We gonna get into Sydney. I feel like I'm gonna do Sydney. I'm gonna do, because I want to do this whole. Is it a right way to love your child? I want to do this whole thing, and then I think we'll do one about relationships. Because I have a different, I mean, yeah, Sydney's a piece of work. Sydney is very, but we have to, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Sydney, a lot of men that will agree with how Sydney and Monique relationship is, because there is a lot of men that their wives, I don't want to tell nobody's business. Okay, I know someone. I know of someone that they can't even talk to any males in their family. They can't talk to anybody. They can't address them. They can't anything. They have to go through their husband. Their husband addresses all the males in their family. They can address the females, but they can't address the males. They can't, so it's a lot. It's not just, that's why I'm saying that's a real sticky situation, y'all, and we can get into it. Because it's a, like, even if you, let's even go here. And it's something that's more common that we're just, it's going over our heads and we're not even seeing it. Because what was the difference with Blueface and like Jaden Alexis, Blueface and Krishan? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of men that um have you seen, it's some few people that when they get ready to speak, they look at their husband to get the okay. Like, it's out here, y'all. You say I want to come, but still at work. 44. Okay, sis. I know. I don't even have children, so no comment. You don't have children, but you was a child. Okay, you don't have children, so you was a child. So yes, I feel like, and then like I said, this is coming from a mother of nine. You know what I'm saying? I say a mother of nine. If people want to call me a stepmom, but I say bonus mom of four. So birth mom of five. I mean a six. Can't forget my baby. So this is just coming from my perspective, y'all. This is coming from my perspective. So, yeah, my cousin had a lot, but she didn't get the nurturing from her mom. She was so busy on the grind. Exactly. Some people just be grinding. You know what I'm saying? That grinding on my life. You know what I'm saying? That's real. Sometimes you gotta grind. Some people grind to get it. From my watches, the children just want acknowledgement, not material things. Yes, like for me, I'm not a materialist. My kids are not materialistic at all. My kids don't know the difference between a Jordan and that you could just, they're in, if you put the shoe, I could take my kids to the shoe store and they just be so overwhelmed. They just be like, Mom, get whatever. Like they could care less. Like it's not, but like I said, I come from a different place because I homeschool. I don't know what it's like for kids that, you're sending to school every day and you feel like they got to compete. My children don't compete with anybody but themselves. And I teach them that you want to look better than you did yesterday. Like you want to feel better than you felt yesterday. You want to be better than you were yesterday. Like compete with yourself. Be a better you. Every day I compete with myself. Every day I wake up and I compete with sister girl. I can't compete with nobody else. All I can do is compete with myself. I'm going to have I tell myself, you're going to be better than you were yesterday. You're going to be stronger than you were yesterday. You're going to be, it's that motivation. You got to motivate yourself. You're going to be wealthier than you were yesterday. You're going to be richer than you were. Like people say affirmation. I affirm to myself and I teach my kids to affirm to themselves. And I feel like even if I do miss the ball, even if I do drop the ball, even if something happens and, I miss a monumental moment in their life because I've known how it has affected my elder children in the past. With my younger children, I can be like this. I can be open. I can, you know what I'm saying? Talk to them, communicate. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids don't like material things don't mean anything to them. Like they like to go places, like they like to travel. My kids they love to travel. If I say we going to Florida, they for it. If I say we going to New York, they for it. Vegas, they for it. But if I say we going to the store, I could take them to the Dollar Tree and they just as happy, you know what I'm saying? Where I know some kids, they got to have $200 shoes, $300 this and 300, and the parents are struggling to provide this, and they're missing the mark. They're thinking that is love. And at the end of the day, that's not. They're still missing it, you know? You say I'm waiting for some. You said so you can stay in a treehouse, girl. They all about to get a treehouse in the backyard. I've been looking at them little them little builder houses that people been buying on off of Amazon. And I told my kids, I said, yep, I'm about to buy some more land. And everybody gonna get them a little house and they gonna put it out on the land and y'all can go there. I told my other daughter with my grandbabies, you can get you a 2-bedroom one. You get out there. My other daughter, my son, my other son. I said, told my 13-year-old, even if you want your own space, you might can be able to get you a house out there. I said, no, that's what we gonna do, child. Cause I'm telling you, we went to the grocery store the other day, girl. Ooh, every time I go to the grocery store, like a $1,200 grocery bill. Y'all, it ain't big families. It's expensive. I tell you that. Says Ella, I sprayed my hair red on Friday. My mom didn't realize till the next Saturday when I helped her with wow, girl. Shoot, not me. I remember cutting my hair. My mom, I walked in the door. She said, who told you to do that? I said, my bad. I thought I was grown. That was me when my sister was finishing her military career. I had guardianship and knew more about her kids than she did. Exactly. Usually that's it. You said Moo, I honestly think Uncle Sydney, aka Jody, exposed those text messages spite in the spirit. I don't think it was Monique. Sis, I agree. I was gonna get to that. Because my thing was, why did you have to expose what you said, Sydney? Nobody cared. It wasn't even about you. But he's been trying to make it about him, which leads me to further believe that it has been, about him. You know what I'm saying? In a way. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I agree with you. It's something about that Sydney, and I mean, and y'all know I'm like, okay, that's her husband, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because it is some aspects. I step behind my husband, and in some ways, some things I don't address. I let my husband address it. And like, even like, for instance, if my brother-in-law has something to say to me, or he dislike or he disapprove with something to me, he not gonna call me directly and call himself going off on me. He gonna go through my husband and he gonna say this. Then my husband gonna come to me and I'm gonna say what I gotta say. We're gonna leave it. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it go. You know what I'm saying? So I some things like that. But when it comes to Sydney, you say, I'm waiting to hear Sydney say, it's pimpin'. It's pimpin'. In my Cat Williams voice, child, for real. Child, say, them eyes ain't hazel for nothing. He said, where was your antennas when he was out here exposing all of our shit? That's what need to be said, Mo. Where was your antennas when he was out here dropping these text messages? You know what I'm saying? Because child, he says, I don't think Sydney is faithful. I think he's stepping out on her. Well, they have an open relationship, and that's, women say that, coming from one married woman, women say that when they know their husband is an habitual cheater. If you know your husband is an habitual cheater and you ain't going nowhere, y'all got an open relationship. That's just what you say. Because like the Scott sisters, Latasha Scott, she know, and so do Tamika, but we gonna leave that, why she want to be talking about Rocky. But anyway, he said, damn it. Oh yeah, unicorn. 10, you adopted me. Thank you. Okay. You said you're going to get you a tiny house out here too, child. Look, when I get my land, you should be, hey, if that's what you want to do, that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? I believe in community and I believe in family. I believe in love. I believe in all that good stuff, homesteading, all that. I'm so ready to grow my garden this year, y'all, because I'm so tired of buying watermelons that just don't taste like my watermelons in my garden. I'm so tired of buying fruit and mint and all this stuff that I usually grow. I cannot wait. Okay. Buy me my collard greens, all that good stuff. I be, girl, look, if you live with me, you got to learn how to live off the land now. You got to learn how to eat off the land. You know what I'm saying? You got to be out here, you know, we going to be working now. It ain't free fall. I'm just messing with y'all. You right, because I have 2 sons, 1 daughter, and they also pointed out things I have made mistakes on. So I completely exactly. But you didn't really think that you really probably didn't think like you really honestly in your hearts of hearts, and I'm gonna ask you this, sis, in your hearts of heart, did you really think even the things that they pointed out, did you really was you like, dang, did like, was you just like, I didn't think about that, or I didn't even think I did that, or I didn't even think I knew that, or I didn't think I said that, like, because you just going through your days. You know what I'm saying? Like me and my daughter was talking the other day, and I was telling her, and I talk about her all the time because that's my bouncing. We bounce, so that's my ball. You know what I'm saying? Like you have one of them kids that's like your ball, and so you bounce stuff off of them. And I was just telling her, and she was just like, she kept saying, well, I feel, and I kept on saying, but just because that's the way you feel, was that the way it was? Or if someone says something to you, is that just because you took it that way, even though it wasn't meant that way? Does that make it right to respond in another way? Like, where does feelings and like, I don't know. That feelings thing is hard, y'all. Y'all don't think that feeling thing is hard? I don't know, because I might, like I said, I woke up today on a low. I just wasn't feeling myself today. It's just been, just a lot going on with my mental, like, when I keep it 100, like, just a lot, day to day, just surviving, anniversaries, different anniversaries coming up, different, what was you doing last year around this time? What was going on? You know what I'm saying? What was happening? So I woke up on a low. And so, I was downstairs, and I'm the type of person, I like to cook, you know what I'm saying, when I'm on the low. So I was in there, I said, I seasoned some New York strips, and I was making a salad, and I was making lunch and stuff. Because I was on such a low, I didn't get out of bed for like 2.5 hours. I just laid in the bed. And I wasn't asleep. I was just laying in the bed, coaching myself, talking to myself, inspiring myself. So when I finally got out, I was just like, okay, now you got to get going. Now you got to get up. Now you got to get yourself together. Now you got to, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, my husband was in his office working, and then the first thing he says is, are you okay, babe? And I was like, I'm just, I said, I am. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Then my daughter, Mom, you all right? I'm going to be all right. Let me get my high up. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back on my plane. You know what I'm saying? So some days we don't get credit for not being the best us. And so we trying, like we're putting on a facade for our children. Like we're like, okay, even though I know some parents that don't know how the bills is going to get paid next week. You know what I'm saying? Or if the first is coming before they know it, and they still struggling from last month's bills. You know what I'm saying? Or they're waiting on this, or they waiting on that. They're not getting child support. They're not getting this. They're not doing that. And but they're doing the best that they can do. So what is good parenting? I go back to that question. What is being a good parent? Is there a right or a wrong way to love your child? Yeah, I feel there's a wrong way. You can, I mean, if you're, and I'm not saying for people who minds go in the gutter, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, can you, what is saying that you're being the perfect parent? How can you say what is a perfect? And I asked my child, I asked all my kids, what's a perfect parent? My baby said, you. My other kids was like, um, my one son said, Mom, if you'll be perfect if you let me get more video games. You know, like if you ask your kid now, how can I be a perfect parent to you? If Monique go and ask her son, how can I be a perfect parent to you? What do you think his answer would be? What would be his answer? You say, right again, I need to start playing the lotto. Girl, you better play it. You say you moving to come on, Sugarland watermelon. Yes, right. That's right. Them sweet Texas watermelon. There's no perfect anything. You right. There's no perfect anything. But for some strange reason, we we're on the outside, y'all. We are on the outside of Monique and her son's relationship. We're on the outside of, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with a child with mental illness, you have to be stronger than you have ever been in your life. You have to sometimes walk on eggshells. We don't know why she did not address him directly as much as Sydney did. We don't know. We don't know the inner workings of their relationship. But we're gonna listen to what he say. Then we're gonna listen to her response. Then we're gonna listen back to his response. Then we're gonna listen. She dropped the text. Then he responded again last night. Then he got on live today. And when he was on live, he had about 36,000 people watching. Quick. I'm just saying. We all know how this internet game run. We've been watching Krishan and Blueface and them play it for a long time. Monique Lawson into mystery her son. I married in a blended family, but I wish my husband would speak evil toward my son. Exactly. I married into a blended family too. And y'all, I'm gonna tell you this. My son was probably about 16, 17 when he tried my husband for the first time. I was at work. My husband came to my job, getting me it was a mess. I was so like, what the hell? And I never thought my son would do that because he was never raised around that. My dad, he wasn't raised around his father, but my dad raised my son. And he's never seen no one like my brothers or anybody raised up to my father. So for him to do that to my husband, I was like, hold on, where did this come from? And I think we had been married probably about 7 years by then, 6 or 7 years by then. Now, has he ever done it again? No, they've never had whatever. Now, do I think that their relationship is what it could be? No, but my husband is very um he's a girl's dad. I'm just gonna say my daughters it's 5 of them, 5 girls and 4 boys. And he's a girl, he's definitely is a girl dad. And you know, his boys, he expect them to be men. Like he just has an expectation of them. So you right. I don't think he, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know what happened. We don't know. We really don't know what happened on the outside. You say you disagree. Hey, Kimberly, welcome. You say you disagree. Sydney has not mistreated that boy. I don't know. We're going to listen to what he has to say, y'all, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to go through all. I think I'm going to go through all. I'm going to go through finish this response. Then I'm going to play Monique and Sydney's response, and then I'm going to play his other two responses, okay? But I might stop him because, I don't want to be in no trouble. But we going to listen.
During that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to.
Now, I'm going to pause this just to say this. He says, an apology to a son that you constantly show no interest in does not hold any weight. Okay? So what my thing is this, and that's why I said the conversation needs to be had. What do you want? What is it that you desire? Like I had to ask my son, what is it that you desire? What is it that you want? I don't feel like she's ever asked that question, or if she has, she's never gotten an answer, or if she has, she just didn't work with it. But we gonna just listen.
To this day, that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Um, every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be.
Okay. Let me get up here. Let me get up because we got to listen to what he said now. We have to listen to what he said. He said that besides the money, what could she possibly give him now? So, like I told you, he's still stuck in that mindset of this is a part of him having to. He's like she just wasn't there, but she can't go back and be there. That's the part. Like as we become adults and men, and now that maybe he's seeing his daughter and maybe he's wanting different from his daughter, for his daughter, maybe he wants Monique to be a part of his daughter's life. But then he says he don't. So it's kind of like he just listen to how he expresses himself. I think he's well spoken. Don't get me wrong, I think he speaks well. I think he's very, he articulated himself well, especially for somebody that deals with mental health issues. I feel like he did articulate that very well, how he felt. However, I do feel like he's saying, yeah, I got this, but I didn't get this. I didn't get this. I'm sorry, y'all. As a parent, I can say you can't always give, I can't always give you 100% of what I ain't got. You want me to fill you up when I'm empty. That doesn't how. The girl says she was empty. She says she was in a mental crisis. So at some point, and it's sad, he suffered from that. He had to suffer because of his mom's mental breakdown. How many times have a mother been at her, like I told you, roller coaster low, but you still trying to make it happen? So she thought maybe going out and buying him toys or going out and buying him this or going out and doing this for him or taking him to Disney, even though to him, he was like, no, I just might have just needed you to just lay in the bed and hug me and watch cartoons with me. But she might not had 10 minutes to watch she might not had a whole day to lay in the bed and watch cartoons with you. But then when God stripped her, because that was God, and she had them other kids, she had an opportunity to raise them differently. And it's unfortunate that he's the eldest. And sometimes it's unfortunate the eldest is the sacrificial child. That's unfortunate. The eldest is the sacrificial child because that's your first time becoming a parent. You don't even know if you like being a parent. You don't know if you like what you done went through. You don't know how you suffered from postpartum. You don't even know if you went through postpartum, especially back then. Especially our kids that we birthed in the 90s, in the early 2000s, because we were coming out of our own traumatic experiences through from the crack era. So we coming out of our own traumatic experiences. Now we birthing kids, and y'all got to remember back then. I don't know where y'all grew up at, but I grew up in the inner city, and back then, baby, you better. you, here I go, fast car, okay? That Tracy Chapman, okay? You better get going. You better get in the fast lane. So, and then she was trying to become somebody, all while trying to be a mother. Something had to sacrifice. It was either sacrifice her career and go, or sacrifice her son. And the sad part about it, somebody had to lose. I hate it. I hate that her son feel this way. I do. But we'll let him finish telling his story.
A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me. And she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then He gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I.
Okay, I want to know. He said you ask God for something, but he give you what you need. Need though, for you to only. So he said that God gave him because she needed him. But she wanted something different. That's y'all, that statement right there. I don't know how many people head it went over. He said to ask God for what you want, right? But he gives you what you need for you to only turn around and not love it right. I just want y'all to hold that in y'all thought. Hold that in y'all thought process. Hold that in y'all thought process.
I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. It's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. Um, I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, you know, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly. I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? Um, but it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons, and God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. Um, I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but no, but whenever they hear me talk, um, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you are not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. Um, my mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate it if she stopped saying stuff like that. Hi.
Okay, so that was Monique's son. With his, yes, so right, because I work with kids with, yes, I'm telling you, it does make a difference. So let's go to, oh Lord. We're gonna go to Monique's. Okay. So this is Monique. And y'all, I'm not gonna play all of this just because Sydney get on my nerves. And I'm not gonna lie. But I just wanna play bits and pieces of it and hopefully it'll let me skip through it because Sydney really get on my nerves. So but we're gonna play it. Hold on. Sorry, y'all.
All right, we're gonna wait for some of the babies to come in the room so we can have this conversation. You would do that right now? Hey, babies.
Hey, hey.
We just wait for y'all to come on in the room so we can have this conversation with our community. What is that? Oh, we good. Let's rock and roll, baby.
Let's rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
The title of our conversation, or the theme of it, is called The Long Way Around, because ain't no shortcuts. Pickles, stop playing with that paper, please. The reason we're having it is a multitude of reasons, but we're going to start off with there was a Instagram that was put up, or I guess
It was TikTok, baby.
TikTok that was put up by
My son, my oldest son, Shalon. And this is what I want to say to this. There are some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I'll say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that said to me, I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we'll watch this play out. And I do want to address this though, Shalon. When you say her daddy, then that's when mommy gonna say stop playing, because you know this has been Uncle Sid your whole life. Uncle Sid knew you before you knew you. So for you to say her 3 sons, yes, you're absolutely right. He has 3 sons. He can't claim you as his son because he's always been Uncle Sid, and he knows your daddy very well.
and love that brother. And the irony of all of this is not what is said, but what's left off.
Yes.
See, you're leaving off the fact that the last time we laid eyes on you, your mother got you everything you needed for the newborn baby about 3 years ago. You're forgetting about how I, from Georgia, am talking you through getting your car after we gave you the half the down payment for it. And you were 31 years of age, 32 years of age at that point. And I'm negotiating the deal with the dealer for you as you sit.
Now, I'm going to say this, because this is what's irritating me with Sydney. And I told y'all it's going to be hard because I just can't, like, anyways, I'm just going to let it play a little bit. I'm going to cut it just and let it, because he talks so much. But what I don't like is the fact that Sydney is saying, you know, this is what we done for you. This is what we done for you. That's your child. Like, that's still her child at the end of the day. She is still his mother. And, you know, so what, you had to call it negotiate as a man, that should not have been a problem with you calling and negotiating a deal for him to get a car. Like, Sydney, I'm gonna need you to, like, you're being petty, bro. Like, that's the part that's irritating me with Sydney. Sydney is being so petty, bro. Like, I sound like my kids now. You're being petty, bro. Like, for real. Like, that's just how I'm feeling right now. But let's let him keep talking.
Half of what you see and none of what it is that you hear. Please don't take our word for it. But what we will convey is this. Those who are parents and have raised their parents up to being adults.
The children. Raise their children up to being adults.
Right on. Those who are parents that raise their children into adulthood know that there comes a time and a place in which they determine their own decisions, their own path. You can have multiple children that are raised in one house, but they act and they take on different things.
Now, didn't I say that? Didn't I say that? I do. Now, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I said that. You right about that. You could have different, you can have children born in the same house and raised in the same environment, and they take on different aspects of, you know, different aspects depending on their personal personalities. Okay. No, not two of your children are going to have the same personalities. I'm just going to tell you that. That's just not going to happen. If that is your way of thinking it's going to happen, I'm sorry. I'm going to be the first one to bust your bubble. It's not going to happen like that. They might have similar, but they're not. You have to remember, our children are body spirits now. They might, they might pick up ain't great grandma Lucy's spirit, and one might pick up great grandma Sarah's spirit, and great grandma Sarah and great grandma Lucy didn't get along. Do you understand what I'm saying? So y'all gotta understand that it's a little different. It's a little different, but I just wanted to say, I said that I'm not disagreeing with him. I just feel like he shouldn't be speaking. I just feel like, Mo, this should have been her battle. But that's just me. I just feel like that.
The reason why it was so important for us to entertain these conversations that we typically have privately, or that we're influenced to have privately amongst the people in our community, is because we need to stop being embarrassed about being human beings and about being Black human beings. You will oftentimes hear us saying we are embarrassing ourselves in front of them. Who is them?
Who are they?
Because when you hear someone articulate these things, that is the slave's mentality. That makes us believe that we as Black people need to conduct ourselves with dignity because white people are watching. You should conduct yourself with dignity because the spirit of you is watching.
Come on.
But we need to have these conversations out loud and taboo, because we have a finite period of time together here on this earth. You will travel through infinity with the spirit that you have all alone, and you will not remember the ridicule that you receive, but you will be judging yourself. You will be
blah blah blah. We're gonna let him go on to his rant, and we gonna talk, okay? Because he just was ranting. But anyways, once they addressed him, Shalon came back, and this is what he had to say.
Straight to it. Hi, I'm Shalon. So I find it unique that my video was in response to my mother and not her husband, but yet he still had the most to say, which isn't uncommon.
Agreed.
I also find it unfortunate that my mother does not seem to speak on her own. The only two worlds that I know where daddy is used is for children speaking with their fathers and women acknowledging their pimps.
Now, I'm going to say this. Prior to everybody saying that on the internet, I've never heard Shalon say his mama, that statement about his mama being pimped by Sydney. Now, I've never heard Shalon say that. I've went back. I've looked at different archives, whatever. I've never heard him. So this is interesting that this is his view now, since the internet's been saying it. See, that's why I can say how influential the internet can be in more beef. Do you understand what I'm saying? And more beef happening. So this is how influential the internet can be and more beefs happening. You know what I'm saying? And keeping it ignited.
Her husband starts off by literally doing the very thing that I said that they would do, which honestly kind of made me feel as though their response was ironic because they validate my original video. Either A, she has some newfound moment of clarity, or B, she retreats back to daddy. In her retreat back to him, though, he does not acknowledge what I did say, but instead begins to create a new narrative of things that I did not say, which negates the effects of a response video. The two of you essentially created a new video rather than actually respond to what was actually said. You also brought up my father. My father, though, is not doing interviews talking about me. In quick regards to the 3 sons comment, under the context in which your husband was speaking, by your rationale, Ma, he should have easily had no problem saying 4 sons, especially since you say he knew me before I knew me. The two of you can sometimes come off as seekers of weak levels of empathy from others, while at the same time sidestepping any accountability that one may need to take. To attempt to address what I said to another man while also trying to make your wife victim number 1 has nothing to do with you. My father did not need you to speak for him. You're her daddy, not his. My mother has been speaking on our relationship for years. So to imply that only one side of a story was told when there are several articles and interviews throughout the internet discussing my strained relationship with her, filled with quotes from your wife speaking directly about me while also providing vague context and downplaying the impact of an uninterested mother. I am 33 years old and have had ample opportunity to go to the media and tell some BS story for a BS amount of money, but instead I am on TikTok expressing my feelings for free. If the two of them were paying attention, I literally explained in my first video why I am responding using TikTok. And I should not have to repeat myself. My mother also states there are some people that are saying, oh, you should be ashamed of your mothering skills. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is what I say. Let's let it play out. Because the same ones that were saying, oh, I was crazy, I was deranged, we watched it play out. So just like with my son, we're going to watch this play out. First of all, who the hell is we if it ain't you and I reconciling our relationship? Second of all, it's power in a word. Nobody is playing, but I can understand why you would use that word specifically. As you stated in the Club Shay Shay interview, you had the mentality of a 15-year-old child. You required a man to raise you, and you were acting like a little girl. These are your words. It doesn't matter what context I have them in. This is how you thought of yourself as a grown adult who was someone's mother. Last time I checked, Monique fans, a 15-year-old grown adult who acts like a child but is in search of their daddy, they don't typically make efficient parents. But hey, I could be wrong. On a more serious note, to sit there and allow your daddy to address my mental health in a weak attempt to pass my response off as a moment is disturbing and insulting to those of us who do have mental health issues. The way I presented myself was no different than my mother and her daddy presented themselves when addressing D.L. Hughley. And her precious sweet babies ate it up. DL is wrong because he's so loud. Mo and Daddy are right because they're so calm. But I, for some reason, don't get the same energy. To simply try to call me crazy is dismissive and cowardice. Attacking somebody's mental status is a clear sign that you have zero to stand on. Furthermore, what kind of person still has a text message from their wife's son that is over 2 years old, still in their phone, saved just for the purpose of re-showing it to him? What I specifically remember about that message is that at the end of it, you said something along the lines of, if you don't respond, I understand. I could care less about what your message was about, but for you to say in the message, if you don't respond, I understand. Why was it then that when you and I did speak, after that message was sent, the first question out of your mouth is, hey man, how come you didn't respond to my text message? I found that to be very unique, but I did not need an explanation on how to speak to.
Okay, he done unloaded a lot, y'all. I'm sorry, I was on the phone, so I wasn't able to stop. But he's basically talking about from when Monique had responded and how Sydney responded and stuff. But a lot of what he was saying was they're both saying the same thing. Monique is saying I was a bad mother. I'm trying to do better. I tried to do better. It wasn't received. He's saying you was a bad mother. You did try to do better, but it was too late. So, I mean, what is the difference? The only difference is Monique is saying, I'm standing by Sydney, and he's saying, I don't want Sydney. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel, but we're going to keep listening.
Women or how to listen to women. That was not what that situation was about. My mother showed me how conceited she is in that situation that you were referring to. For a woman to villainize the actions of her son for being a man and a father to his new family simply because she had not heard from him in 2 days, as though her phone was broken and she could not check on me. Because last time I checked, I was a new parent. I didn't get a new house. I didn't go on vacation. I didn't just get a new game system. I had a baby.
There we go. There it go. He's mad at his mom because he feel like she didn't step up. Like he said, I didn't get a new game system. I didn't do this. Like all the little stuff that I ever called you for. Okay, you wasn't there for me emotionally. Okay, I get it. But here I am. I just had a whole new baby and you still not gonna be there. He has a right to feel like that. He has a right to feel like that. Now, like I told y'all, I'm not one-sided in this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, because I believe there's two sides to every coin. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not one-sided in this. I'm not heads, I'm not tails. Do you understand? it's a lot of what he's saying, he's valid. A lot of what she's saying, she's valid. I wasn't there. I don't know how it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm only going off of an hour of what they want to share, 2 hours of what they want to share on the internet. This is what we're going off of. We're judging this off of 2 hours of what they want to share. So, like I said, it's two sides to each coin now.
And in those 2 days that you did not hear from me, I was handling my business as a man and a father. But I'll assume your phone and the phones of those around you were all broken, which I wanted to believe was the reason why you did not respond to a message from your son expressing his concern over some bumps that your grandchild had on her back. You would later make it your business to tell me that you got the message and chose not to respond because her other grandmother is a nurse. Damn the fact that she is also your blood. And shout out to Nana. My baby girl loves her some Nana. The statement about money and then stating, don't let nobody introduce me to you is not a competent statement to make because it wasn't a complete sentence, nor did the two things correlate with each other. And when did you have the time to introduce yourself to a son that you weren't interested in and didn't do the best job you could do? I'm starting to think that you're not hearing yourself. To address money, you gave me $10,000 for a down payment on a car. Yes, thank you again. Thank you. My girlfriend and I were already prepared to put our money together and get a car. You and your husband called us one day and stated that y'all were going to give us $5,000 for a down payment. We said, okay. You then called us back a day or two later and stated that you would be giving us $10,000 for a down payment on the car. You and him made the conscious choice to give us that money. We did not ask you for anything, but this is an example of a rich person doing something for you. And because this is, an example of a rich person doing something for you because they want to do it for you, but because it doesn't have the desired effect that they want it to have, you are inconsiderate and ungrateful. But let's take it a step further. I eventually would uncover that my mother had left me a UTMA worth $45,000. You never brought that account to my attention. You claim it was because you forgot that you even set it up in the first place, which validates my original.
I'm just a talking, y'all. Look. Hold on. What you say, sis? You said, if you don't do it from the heart and not throw it back up, don't do it at all. I'm a firm believer in that. I am a firm believer in that. But I'm going to say this. Now he's about to unveil that his mom had put some money, $45,000 in an account for him. And she had forgot she had put it in the account. So she's told him, which I don't think Monique forgot. I think that her son was going through what he was going through. And because he was going through what he was going through, Monique was like, I'm not about to give you this money to throw away. You know, I'm not going to let you throw this money away. So when he found out he had the money, he going to tell you how he went to her and how she was acting like she had forgot about it. And then how when he went to her for her to get the money out, she didn't want to help him get the money out. But he also says he blew the money once he got the money. Sometimes as parents, we be knowing. She knew once she gave him that $45,000, he wasn't going to do the right. You know, she knew where he was at mentally. She knew where he was at emotionally. She knew these things. And she's like, and she might have forgot she had put the money in there. You know what I'm saying? She might have forgotten she had put the money in there. But I'm saying she also knew at what state he was in. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to, hey, Queen. Hey, sis. Welcome. Hey, y'all, if y'all can do me a favor, please hit that like button. There's only a few of us in here, but you know what? I don't care. It could have been one or two of us in here talking, child. This is my living room. So when we in my room, my house, you know what I'm saying? I don't need thousands of people in here talking. I just leave some some real ones. That's it, and that's all. Okay, but hit that like button for me, please, please, please. I would really, really, really appreciate it. Okay, so we're gonna let him finish.
Point, who forgets that they invested $45,000 into a child that at that time is the only child. When I was homeless and I called you to help me figure out how to access the account, you said, Shalon, I don't even know what you're talking about. And if I did, why do you think I would help you? After finding out from the Georgia Department of Revenue that they had been sending me mail to 3 separate Georgia addresses, all of which I lived at with you at some point or another. For the life of me, I can't grasp how those letters managed to slip by so many people at 3 different locations. I did, however, eventually get access to the money and the brokerage account that you had set up for me with Morgan Stanley. To be fair, what you put together for me was amazing, especially had I let it sit for a year or two, which made it bittersweet that you wouldn't have wanted to help or even educate me on how to manage what I had. My blowing through that money is all on me, and I have to take my accountability for that, and it's a lesson learned. Sydney stated that the last time that him and I spoke, I wanted to call him Dad. The actual truth is that I wanted to call him Pop. Calling you Uncle Sydney, but my mother calls you Daddy, and the boys call you Daddy. It was getting a little awkward. And yes, for a very short time, I did feel that way about you, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. Oh, Black Jesus. I do just want to really quickly give a really, really big thank you to the support that I've received throughout this. I didn't think that that was something that was going to happen. I didn't make that video to have a tennis match with my mother. I do not plan on making any more videos. This is it. I've said what I wanted to say. To me, if you're not going to acknowledge, you've already shown me that you don't care enough to acknowledge what I did say. So I definitely don't have the expectation that you're going to acknowledge now what I'm saying. So it is what it is. But once again, I want to say thank you again, man. That day that before I posted that original video, I went to sleep with 25 followers that I probably could name all. I could probably name all 25 of those people. I think I have over like 12,000 followers now. That's really cool, man. I really appreciate that. But I just can't say thank you enough. I know I sound like a broken record, but I do appreciate the love, and best of luck to my mother and Sydney. And I hope that the Cat Williams tour is incredible. I really, really do. But when it comes to me, I am going to enjoy being a dad and being a man and just going through life, man. I don't want to be famous or notorious for being someone's neglected kid. I don't want that to be my story. And I only said what I said just to provide context, not to become anything. But y'all be safe, man. Peace. All right, so I'm just going to get straight to it. Hi, I'm Shalon. So here we go again, right? Hi, I'm Shalon. I'm going to jump right into it. I guess the intelligent thing to do when assuming that your son is having a mental episode is to post personal screenshots of text messages that are 3 years old in an attempt to validate a false narrative as if they are some type of receipt. You also invaded the privacy of my daughter's grandparents by posting your receipts. Neither of you should never speak on mental health again if you thought that that idea was a good one. As a person who lives with mental health issues, let me be the first to educate you that there are individuals who have taken their lives, harmed, and also taken the lives of others for doing the very thing that you so proudly did and your fan base pats you on the back for, which is very telling to how strangers will buy into your toxicity. Picking up the phone to check on your son that you believe is having a mental episode to make sure that he is okay, while also making sure that your granddaughter is safe, is too much to ask, I guess. For those wondering, I have gone to therapy on several different occasions, and that is not something that I will ever be ashamed of. I have even gone to therapy with my mother on several occasions. But for those who know how efficient therapy only works when both people are being open. My mother was still in her 15-year-old mentality phase during that time, so I guess I understand why she did not know how to be open with me during our sessions. When a person becomes accustomed to being a victim, and others get used to seeing them as one. They live their lives in a state of internalization, meaning you consistently receive another's approach as an attack, constantly putting you under the illusion that you need to always be on the defense, even in situations where there is no actual attack, just an acknowledgement of things already said by you. One should not feel attacked by an acknowledgement of the words that they stand on. You eventually become a passive aggressor. To address the men that had something to say in regards to men don't do what I'm doing, let me be very clear. How I man is none of your business. What and how I feed my family has no place on your plate. For every person that stated I should not have come to the internet, I would just like.
I just want to say this now. He said, how I feed my family has no, and I told y'all, like he said in the previous video, he went to bed with 25 followers. He woke up with 12K. He was on live getting presents and everything on TikTok. I'm just saying he done blew up off of this. You know what I'm saying? And when he got on there today, he really didn't want to talk about his mom. You know, that's what everybody was in the comments asking about his relationship with his mom. He was kind of just trying to talk about his daughter, his wife, his girlfriend, his gaming. You know, he games, or he's trying to do this, how he's trying to get his other platforms off the ground, different things like this. So he was taking it as an opportunity. You know, I'm just saying, I'm not saying, and I am saying, we don't know. We don't know. All we know is what we seeing in 2 hours, 3 hours worth of footage on the internet. Okay. In some interviews, him coming forward, him saying this, everything he say, he has to write it down. He say, so he makes sure that he hit his points. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I get it, and I'm not saying nobody, like I told you, it's two sides to every coin. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I believe she was a broken young woman that shouldn't have had a baby? I do. Do I believe that she thought she gave him everything he needed and she felt like he was ungrateful? I do. Do I feel like she missed the ball with him somewhere and that's why he feels the way he feel? Do I feel like she is the reason for a lot of his mental health issues? I do. So I'm just saying, in saying all that, there's two sides to every coin. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, do we as parents, when we have kids before I know how, and then we have children after I know how, are we different parenting? Yes, we do. We do parent different. We do parent a lot different. When I was parenting my two oldest children, because I had two before I got married, and I was parenting them as a single mom, I worked all the time. I did this. I just had a good, strong village. I had my mom, my dad. So I would hear my son sometimes when he get upset with me, he would say, well, you didn't know because you wasn't there. It was Papa or it was Grandma. You know what I'm saying? And I had to be like, you was right, but I did what but you didn't miss a meal. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. But that's not negating how he feels. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying two things can be true at once. You know what I'm saying? Two things can be true at once. It could be how he feels, and it could be she did the best she could. Two things could be true at once, because sometimes we don't know how to love because we wasn't properly loved. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, I feel like she will, if she was a boy, she might have a different aspect because of her and her father. But by her being a girl, she has a different aspect of her father. You know what I'm saying? Her biological father. Where when it comes to my husband, her bonus dad, she goes 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different because of the dynamics. But had he not been a good person, a good provider, had he not been whatever, and had he been And I'm just gonna say I don't really know Sydney personally, but I'm just saying an impression of Sydney. Had he been Sydney, they might not like him. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know. He said one thing is as parents you are guaranteed to be a subject in therapy from time for them in the future. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Like I don't know. I don't know if you was here, Queen, but I had shared, I had went to therapy with my son at one point, and he told me something that had us in an uproar for years. And I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that was such a big thing. Like, some things for us that may seem little as a parent, it could be a big thing for and I shared about my daughter. I didn't know it was a big thing for her. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it was, I didn't, I was trying to be a parent, trying to do the responsible things. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. She said she admitted she wasn't interested in being a mom to him, though. That's different from doing what you think is right and maybe missing the mark. You're right. You're right. But some parents aren't interested in being parents at some point. You know what I'm saying? I'll say this to you. I don't think, and this is me, I think Krishan wants kids, but she's not interested in being a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like it's I don't know. I can't explain it. It's like, I don't know. I just don't feel like with some people they're just not they some women have a motherly instinct. You know what I'm saying? From when I was a little girl, I always wanted a big family. I always wanted, a big family. I dreamed of it. I said if I could not achieve it on my own, and God, he surely opened my womb and blessed me. But if I couldn't have achieved it on my own, I was going to adopt because that's what I wanted. That was what I desired. Some women, they don't desire that. They don't care to be a parent. It's just like, okay. And then if it happens, it's like, okay, how we going to get to the next 18 years? There's some parents that's their countdown from birth to 18 years. When that child hit 18 years, and they like to live in the states that a child can be emancipated when they're 16, 17, because then that really gets them off the hook, because they want to live their life because they feel like their life, is something different. Some parents don't desire to be grandparents. It's okay if I am, but that's not their desire. You know what I'm saying? I just hope God leave me here so I can be a great grandparent. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to see generations. I want to see my kids become grandparents and I want to be able to see generations. You know what I'm saying? So I just celebrated my grandma 90. Just one of my grandmothers just made 91. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing. She gets to see her generations. And so it's like when you're able to think like that, and that's your desire, that's your heart's desire, then that's what you want. Some people, they just don't desire that. So they're just like the luck of the draw. Like, okay, well, here's my kids. Let me do what I gotta do. It's sad, but it's true. Yes, it is the intentions. It says, after these two videos, I always think Monique is feeling his words because no parent wants to hear their child talk about them like that, like this cut deep. Yeah, you're right. I believe that. I believe she is. But I just believe, like, emotionally, she gotta, she has to take it in. She has to. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she had to. Hey, boo, how are you? Welcome in. Welcome. It is, but it's every day. It's not just, we're just seeing this because Monique just got, she just was at on Club Shay Shay. It had millions and millions of views. So she's back in the spotlight. They've been going through this for years, but it's just now, it's like, oh, okay. And then why it's cutting so deep, y'all, and why Hit Dogs is hollering, why some people are over here on the internet and they making it seem like, you know, they're one-sided. Like I said, it's two sides to every coin. As a parent, I can understand when you think you done right and when you know you ain't done right. Because I know some parents that just really didn't desire to be a parent, but once they got their child to that 18 mark, they feel like they was off, you know, that's it. Their parent don't even really, their child don't even really communicate, but they love their parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just however they go. Hey, Queen, welcome to the stage.
Hey, sister girl.
Hey, Pooh.
I said, let me come and chat with you for a second on Monique on the subject, girl.
Okay, go ahead. Let me know what you're thinking.
So I'm definitely one of these people that is just I'm not a big Monique fan as in terms of the person that she shows us. I'm not a big Monique fan. I never was though. Like not never was, but I've never been one of those people that's like rallying so hard for Monique because a lot of the things that her son says, not talking about their specific relationship, but a lot of the things that he mentions, these like if you listen to his little speeches, there's these little tidbits about her personality that he points at. And all of those little tidbits, I'm like, oh, called it. Oh, call that. Oh, because I've seen, you know, like for me, when she's speaking, I have seen those things. And I'm like, yeah, I get this, you know. And so, but I agree with you when it comes down to the relationship between her and her son. I definitely see both sides. I mean, at the end of the day, I 100% agree with you. It's like I said in the comments, I always joke and tell people, like new parents, and I only have a 13-year-old, right? So you're probably further along in the parenting than I am. I don't have an adult child yet, so I don't know what it's like to be a parent of an adult child. But at the same time, thus far, what I know is that you can do the most perfect job that you think you're doing, and you still gonna end up being a topic for your kids. Like they, you know, like I have a friend who like nurtured her child's interests. Every time her child said they was interested in something, she said, "Oh, let me find a class for you. Let me put you in that." You know, and she felt like she was doing such a great thing, and then her child turned around as a young adult and said, "You put too much pressure on me. Like you just every time I said something, you went and did it. You know, you went and you know." And she's like, "What? Like I thought I was, you know, doing the right thing." So all of that to say that, you know, you can have the best intentions and still it's going to be a problem. So, I mean, their issues that they have with each other is some family stuff. But what I don't like is she's treating this issue with her son the way she treats everything else. She
Exactly.
is going out there with daddy, getting on live, blasting her son. And this is
I
one
can't call
thing
him.
that
I can only call him Sydney, y'all. But go ahead.
with Sydney daddy son. Right. So she going out there, you know, like it's like, is there no person in your life that you don't treat like this? You know what I mean? Like I always feel like Monique is a burn the house down kind of person to where when she feels offense or that somebody offended her, she's like, burn it down, you know, and I've known people like that. And on one hand, they can seem very like righteous, like, yeah, they speak up for themselves and they don't take no crap and they call it like it is and they tell it like it is. But there's another coin to that where you can't burn down the house every time you feel like someone's done you wrong. You don't, when you do that, you don't recognize your part in the situation because you may have a part in the situation. And Monique almost never has a part in the situation. It's like she's never wrong. It's like everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is doing this to me, and I'm perfect almost, right? And even when I'm not perfect, I'm close to it, you know. And so I think like some of the things that her son is bringing out is kind of like humanizing her in a way that she hasn't done for herself, in my opinion. my opinion, she's come off very self-righteous, condescending. And he's saying, lady, you you've done some stuff. You've been the bad guy too, with
Mhm.
me in our situation. And, I just don't appreciate how she's handling it. Like, that's my opinion.
I feel like this is just me. I feel like, and it's sad to say this, I feel like everything right now, when these celebrities are getting out here and they're airing out all their dirty laundry, and because, like I said, I found him back in October, right? His On a video he posted, "Guess who I am?" Okay, they and the celebrity kids, and that's where I found him out back. She had went on Janice McCullen's Bernie's daughter show. And she also, she didn't really bring him up, but she was just like, I went through a period where I wasn't a good parent. You know what I'm saying? She also went on another interview, and that's when he was like, okay, you've been on several interviews, but I feel like he's been trying, like, I don't feel like what she said on Club Shay Shay was so bad to make it be like woo woo woo. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like he asked the question and she was like, okay, basically I'm gonna leave it up to the universe, meaning I'm gonna let whatever, where things fall where they fall. Now, was that her cry? Should she have not said that? What should she have said? What should she have said as a parent? What should she have said?
Well, I don't know how she should have answered that question, but I I I sympathize. I can't empathize because I don't have a famous parent. So
Mhm.
I don't get it. But, I can sympathize with him, right? Because I agree with what you're saying. She didn't like blast him. She didn't say negative things about him in the interviews, right? So one would say, okay, well, if she didn't say anything negative about you, why would you then have to come so hard at her, right? As if she did. Because he's saying, she mentioned me. But I mean, it's so much that goes into this dynamic that we don't know and we can't
Where he
relate to.
he
But
grew up. But you got to think he grew up in the industry with his mom. He grew up with his mom on the road. Like he said, basically someone else in his family, helped raise him because she was chasing fame. And he said the only thing that she thought was giving me money, like throwing money at me, like, maybe the $10,000 she gave them 2 years ago or 3 years ago, to 2 year whatever, to help them buy a car. That was her way of trying to be like, okay, because that has always been their relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying? But
yeah,
then it's like he said, okay, yeah, she didn't, I was homeless and she didn't let me know that I had this money saved up. And then when I did get the money, look, then when I did find it, she didn't want to help me get the money. Then when I did get the money, yes, I blew through the money, but she should have been there to tell me how to invest. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
too, like, you cannot, I understand you can say, yes, she didn't give me the foundation I needed, or I didn't get the things I needed from her, whatever. But you're taking ownership, but yet you're both throwing blame, if that makes sense.
yes, it do make sense, and I
And
think
and, and, and when you have um and I tell my kids this all the time. I tell my children this all the time. I tell them, especially my young ones, I be like, when they get grown, you got to remember, like, how you treat your parent. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to think, this is a broken woman that was in the so-called slow class back in our day, who wrote the Little Yellow Bus, that didn't, you know what I'm saying, who was picked on because she was fat. She had to get it from the grind. So she's grinding. She's
yeah,
grinding because the odds are stacked against her. You know what I'm saying? Now, people don't. I'm a comedy person. I love all like, I love comedians. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Amy Schumer is funnier than Monique. I don't. But I
But
understand
how many people do? How
but
many other people do?
yeah, so many other people do.
Right.
This is my thing. This is my thing. I think that forms of comedy is subject to the ear. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't think DL Hughley is funny. I don't think
Mm,
Harvey is funny. But I listen to them because I love comedians. But comedians tell stories. I think Cedric the Entertainer is funnier than them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Bernie Mac
mhm.
was the greatest out of all the whole kings of comedy. You know what I'm saying? And when you listen to it, I love Cat Williams. Some people don't think Cat Williams is funny.
I'm
I,
not a big Pat Williams
you know
person.
what I'm saying? I love David Chappelle. Some people
I
don't think
love Dave
David
Chappelle.
Chappelle is funny. David Chappelle tells stories just like
Yeah.
Monique do. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's subject to the person. People just don't. If it's like if you don't like somebody, and let's be honest, if you just don't like somebody's demeanor, you just don't like somebody. It's no matter. They can get up there and do a set. Everybody else can fall out in the room, stomach hurting, and you'll be sitting up there like,
But yeah, because comedy is subjective. What I
it's
find
so
funny might not
subjective.
find funny. Yeah, like we all find different things funny. Some people find slapstick to be funny. I'm not a big slapstick person. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, comedy is subjective. It is, but
Like I hate Michael Blackson. Like I do not like his comedy. I was like, why do you have to
Michael
fake?
Blackson,
Why do you have to
I'm in the
fake
middle of
being?
Michael Blackson.
Why do you?
Michael, Michael Blackson is funny to me when he's not doing stand up. Like when Michael Blackson is just talking, like when he on interviews or when he tweets sometimes, like I don't know. Like sometimes he's funny and when he's doing the fake voice and he's just doing that kind of shtick, it's like, okay.
You
So
got Zeus? Do you got Zeus?
no.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. He did a show on Zeus. He had his own little show on Zeus. I bet you after you watch that, you will have a whole different opinion of Michael Blackson. I'm gonna tell you that. He's disrespectful. He
What do you
don't
do?
respect women. He's very yes, he's not him.
So is Mike Epps. Mike Epps is disrespectful too.
Hey sis, how are you? Oh, I've been missing you too, y'all. I've been missing y'all. I ain't been coming live, y'all. I've been regrouping. I ain't gonna lie. I've been regrouping. I've been getting the tea though, y'all. I got so much in the archives. I got what they say, so many bullets in the chamber. I've been getting the tea. I just been trying to regroup. I'm about to get ready for my 50 birthday party. So, next month. So,
Ooh, happy early birthday.
yeah, the big 50 girl, the big 50. So, I just been, just trying to get my mental, how, you got to go through that change. You get to that point where you gotta change some stuff around mentally. You know what I'm saying? So they say that 25 mark and that 50 mark, things change. You know what I'm saying? And I can feel it. I can feel the shit.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying like, and that's what I'm saying. And people are talking about like, she didn't, she was a parent, but we don't know how she parented the other three boys.
And so so I was watching a different blog show yesterday, I think, and it was mentioned that she has
Okay.
4 sons herself, right? She has Shalon, and she has Mark Jr. that she adopted allegedly when she was married to Mark. I forgot his last name, but when she was married to that guy that she adopted, Mark Jr., and then when she got with Sydney, they had the twins. But also Sydney has a son. And so I'm often confused when they're saying her 4 sons. I'm often confused because we only saw Mark Jr. in like one picture, like a very long time ago, when she was still married to his father, Mark. But then we stopped seeing Mark Jr. and Shalon when the twins came, and all we see is twins, and occasionally there's three boys, but the third one is Sydney's son. So I'm really confused as to what happened to Mark Jr. It's even listed, like if you research her children, he's listed. But what happened to him? Where he is? I'm like,
I know it was some type of, was it a, I want to say it's probably about 2 years ago. It was a picture. It was like they was having like a holiday or something or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I know Mark Jr. was adopted by her, and so I don't think, you know what I'm saying. Like I think he was adopted because he was the husband's son, if that makes sense.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they had like a.
Because her husband adopted Sharon, and
Hmm.
maybe she adopted his son.
Yeah, I think that's how.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like,
Now, that's how
where is
I remember.
that?
That's how I remember it going. Because, and I think like his mom was still kind of. I don't know if she was around. I don't really know the history with that, but I remember
Mhm.
like I think I remember it was like kind of like a double adoption type situation.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
Mm.
okay. So that might have fizzled once they separated, kind of a thing. So
Yeah,
that could
I
be.
don't. I don't.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say allegedly. Let me say
So
allegedly.
then the third son they talking about is Sydney's kid, not
I
Mark
thought it was
Jr.
Sydney's son. Because I didn't forget about Mike Jr., but I guess I never like when I equated into her. I always say she got four sons and Sydney
Uh-huh.
got one. You know what I'm saying? So I
Okay.
always thought of it like that because I heard Sydney had a son. You know what I'm saying? But I never really seen him.
Right, right.
I've been following them for, I've been following Monique since I was young. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, but shoot,
She,
it's some of them be having kids. I didn't know they had kids. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like
uh-huh,
they kept them away. But I just remember Shalom being in the spotlight because he was her eldest son and he was her biological son. So
uh-huh.
I remember him being more in the spotlight and out front. You know what I'm saying? On the carpets and like he was with his mom. That's why I'm like, where did she miss? You know what I'm saying? But like he said, you thought money was buying me when that wasn't what it was. That's not what I needed. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. I think,
Yeah.
you know, you said
But
I
I
think
think he feels some type of way. Like I think that he could feel some type. I mean, he obviously has contention, with his mother. That he said he has, there's issues between them that stem from, the things that he was talking about when he was growing up, and that she was talking about when he was growing up. So those things he harbors against her, right? And I think when you do harbor something against somebody, you can easily pluck out the negative aspects of that person because we all have negative aspects, right? So he can
mm-hmm,
pluck those out about his mother. And then I think watching his mother consistent, like, could you imagine a person that you feel wronged by, your parent, that you feel wronged by as a public figure, beloved by a lot, and then they consistently get on, speak with their husband, where he seems to be a bone of contention for the kid as well, for the guy as well. And you see this person speaking, like I said, in his speeches, he calls out like her nature of never seeing herself as wrong, or mostly not seeing herself as wrong, as being passive aggressive, as being, having narcissistic tendencies. He's calling these things out. And so he's watching this stuff. He's consistently watching them talk. He's consistently watching people praise her. And he himself is feeling like, you know, this woman did this to me, this woman, whether his feelings are valid or not. So I think it might have just bubbled over to a point where he's like, I'm going to say something. And he keeps tagging. I don't know if you noticed, he keeps tagging DL Hughley. Mm,
Interesting, ain't it? I was gonna bring that point up. I brung up the point that he done became TikTok famous. He's going live on TikTok. People sending him money, sending him, you know what I'm saying? His revenue is addictive. He's all like, why are you tagging DL Hughley in every post? Like every single post he's tagged DL Hughley. You know what I'm
but you
saying?
know what though?
He ain't
I
tagged
think,
Cat Williams. He ain't tagged Dark Matter Tour.
but look at the beef that she's having with DL though. Look at the, because I know some people are saying, well, did DL and influence him to say something? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
And
look
maybe
at,
it's because she said something about, because she was like the relationship that DL have with his kids. But either way,
yeah, that's been a big
thing,
part of her beef
but
with
this is
DL.
my thing. DL, like when she brought up stuff, she clarified some stuff. And I watched that stand up. You know what I'm saying? And when she come out there, I didn't take her as she was talking about his wife. She was talking about him. He knew she was talking about him. Do you understand what
Yeah,
I'm
he probably knew
saying?
that, but okay, if it's your husband and
And
somebody say call you and say when you were doing this, you probably gonna feel hit by it, So I would understand if why his wife may have felt hit by that.
I
And
wouldn't
then the
have felt
stuff
hit.
that she did
I
with
guess
his
I
daughter
know.
was
I guess because I get, and like I said, I'm a comedy type person, and I
mhm,
love comedy, and I love all kind of comedy, even comedy I don't think it's funny. People I don't think it's funny, I watch them just because
mhm,
comedy tells stories. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I listen and
mhm.
I pay attention. And like I said, we gonna get. You know what? I'm gonna come back live because I gotta go take my daughter to chef school real quick. But I'm
Okay,
gonna come
cool.
back live and we gonna break down that part of the comedy tour. I mean,
Okay.
when she did that piece on stage, we gonna break that down to
I'll
how
listen in
what
because I
she
ain't watching. So
okay.
I'll
So
listen in.
I'm gonna bring it up. You know what I'm saying? Sister
Okay.
got the receipt. You know I got the receipt. So
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
bring it up and we gonna look at it and so we can hear the whole context of it. So that
Mhm.
do you understand what I'm saying? Because I can give you a clip of something and you gonna take it in the context of what that clip said. If you don't
Mhm.
get the full story behind it, you gonna be like, what? Now, should she have said it? No, she shouldn't have. But come on, we sisters. We sisters. You know our mouth get to being like when we mad about something, sometimes we get to saying shit we shouldn't have said. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta, but my thing is we gotta be woman enough sometimes to apologize. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That does not give DL right any right to call her fat, black, Captain Crunch Eater, this, that. It did not give him no right for that. It did not give him no right for that. But it's like we can okay him saying these things about her because mostly it's the people that really don't have a like for her disposition. You know what I'm saying? Versus us being like, you know, they both was wrong. We you don't attack your brother and your sister. Y'all been on tour together, but we don't know how that was back in the day.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of digs and it's a lot of deep down dynamics to this because I've heard some things about the tour and I'm gonna bring up some clips from talking about
Mhm.
that type of stuff too. So that we can
Cool.
understand because remember, you got to think she also talked about on Club Shay Shay when they were on tour and how they tried to mistreat the women on the tour. And the men
Mhm.
was, they try to put all four of them in one limo, but all the men had separate limos. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So, and it's different in how Bernie Mac has had to stand up behind her and how they didn't want to pay them all their money because they were women, but the men and how when they got done with the tour, all the men got Rolexes and the women didn't get nothing. Do you understand
Mm.
what I'm saying? And they was the
Yeah.
kings and queens of comedy.
Queens of comedy. Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it goes a lot.
Mhm. There's a lot of dynamics.
You know what I'm saying? Her and DL Hughley go a lot deeper because when she brought up all that stuff a long time ago, they feel like she was unjust for saying anything about that then. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it goes
Yeah.
a lot deep, but we gonna deep dive, girl. I'll be back.
I'ma listen. I'm
I'll be
listening.
posting
Thank you.
thumbnail.
Thank you for letting me chit chat with you, sister girl.
Yeah, you can come up later too, girl, because I'm gonna break down some stuff. I'm gonna let y'all see how, because it's a lot deeper than what we're seeing now on the surface. It goes a lot deeper. You know what I'm saying? But people ain't digging in the cavity to get to the root of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? People like, I'm gonna dig a little bit just to, you know what I'm saying? But we true over here. We gonna talk truth. I don't like to speak nothing I don't know about. That's how. All right, well, I love y'all. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. All right. Well, y'all, it's your girl, sister girl. I gotta get out of here and take y'all niece to chef school, and I'll get back with y'all later. Okay, it's your girl, sister girl. Please like this video, y'all, and share it. Let somebody know we coming back. All right, peace. So go ahead, drink up. I'm so glad we got to link up. Taking that off me.